Happy National Working Students Day, everyone! Good morning, magandang umaga, Ohio, and welcome. To those here with us in this global classroom at Mapúa Makati, hello, welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your busy days to come here in Makati. Or if you're watching this recording later, possibly between tasks, on your lunch break, or possibly even at 11 p.m. after your shift, either way, we are so genuinely thrilled you're here with us to celebrate National Working Students Day. I'm April.
And I'm Koji. We are your hosts, not just for National Working Students Day, but as you can see in front of us, in front of our screens, we gladly welcome you to our inaugural SWS address or the State of the Working Student address. So let's give each other round of applause for being here. We're so glad to be in your presence. We see our media partners, we see some of our students, some of our faculty. Thank you very much for being here. We're glad to be in your presence. This 3, 2, 1.
Now, before we get into the full state of the working student, or SWS as we like to call it here, let's do a quick vibe check. If you're currently, right now, today, both enrolled in a class and holding down a job, I want you to make some noise, everyone. Oh, wow. Our working students.
Everyone's wide awake. I'm glad everyone had their coffee earlier.
Yes, full of energy. That's what today is for.
Yes, today isn't about your usual narrative. Of course, we have the usual Filipino resilience that we always adhere to our working students, right? But today is not about that. It's not just about that, at least. Today, it's about also repeatedly showing up despite whatever challenges we may have right now, nationally, globally, right? Let's think of our working students now, and hopefully we can reflect the virtues that they bring us, and we'll gladly share with you also our new findings based on our SWS report.
Yes, that's right, Coach. Today is not a lecture, today is not a seminar, today is a celebration backed by data and a community that is collaborative and dynamic in nature. Whether you're here in this room or watching this recording, I promise you it will be worth your while. What do we have for today, Coach?
Yes, today we will be sharing a portion of the realities of our working students, the truth of our working students that's backed by real data, initial data that we plan to continue later on. But at least we have something, a basis, a foundation, a starter for our conversations about working students and how we can advocate and empower them moving forward. Right, April. So without further ado, to kick us off into full gear, we first want to welcome MMDC's Director for Shared Services, Mr. Chester Catilago.
Good morning, everyone. All right. Thank you, Koji and April. What a great day it is today to be celebrating the working student. Thank you all for being here in Makati, in person. Usually we run classes digitally, virtually, but it's good to see faces today. And for those who will be watching the recording later, thank you for taking the time to go through this with us. Today is not any other day that I usually spend my time. Usually I talk about operations, systems, technology, platforms as part of shared services. That's part of making sure that things actually work at MMDC, right? Today it's a different...
Need to make sure things are working here as well.
Yes, thank you. There you go. Thanks, Rita. So we're gonna talk about a different type of system that that every working student usually runs with. The one that's powered by grit, by sheer determination, and exactly 4.99 hours of sleep. Let's do a quick poll, just like our survey. How much sleep did you have last night? Three? It's right. Zero. Kochi. Yeah, so 4.99 hours. That's the average hours of sleep that our working students have, right, on a regular basis. And that's not, it's not a personal discipline problem. It's not because they're slacking off or they're doing unimportant things. It's not that. It's a mathematical consequence of running a full-time job and lives uh, and their lives simultaneously, taking care of their kids, taking care of household, right? We have single parents doing that while having having to spend time to complete their schoolwork, right? So it's a consequence. It's not a discipline issue. But here's why I'm genuinely excited today, right? What we're doing this morning is not just an awareness exercise where, you sympathetically say, oh yeah, oh, and then you go back to regular, ordinary day as if it's any other day. What you're about to hear in this address will initiate, and we hope will drive a community for our working students. So we're doing something different because as we surveyed a special demographic in MMDC and even beyond, outside our school, we were able to champion and highlight the working student. We've collected a total of 155 respondents, and I want to share this particular profile of our demographic. On average, our working students are 28 and a half years old. And they've been juggling work, school, and life all together for nearly 4 years, 3.96 years. And they work almost like any other full-time employee. As you can see there, 38.4 hours of work. Typically, people work 40 hours if you're a full-time employee, right? These are working students doing nearly that. One other aspect that I'd like you to focus on is among these respondents, 73.5% of them are actually AI tool adopters, right? They are leading this new technology. They are trailblazers. They're early adopters. And it's born out of necessity. Imagine you spend 38.4 hours working and you still have to take care of home and you still have to do your schoolwork. You can't just really cram everything, right? You're gonna run out of time. And that's why this particular aspect of our working student is very interesting, that they're adopting to this new technology faster than anyone else. And that 73.5 of our respondents are actually using Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, and all the other AI tools out there, right? Now, you need to do this because it just optimizes everything. It helps you perform or gives you exponential capability because of these AI tools. It doesn't replace you. You still need to be capable. You still have to have the skill, but it emphasizes and expands what you can do. So you'd be able to cram all that work in a very limited amount of time. Later on, you'll also hear from the address another particular aspect that I would like to highlight. In spite of all these challenges, 74.8% of them have said that they are proud of balancing work and school. It's not like they're just complaining that I'm in this predicament. They're actually very proud that, hey, I'm able to work nearly full time, just like any other employee, and do school, whether this is 9 units, 12 units, still take a lot of effort and dedication to get that done. Plus all the things that you have to do at home, right? And in spite of all that, they are very happy with what they're able to achieve. And I think that, again, is something that we need to celebrate for, right? They're not surviving, they're not managing, they're proud to say that, yes, I'm a working student. So this report describes them with one phrase in mind. That's something that I cannot, forget. It's usually seen, yet rarely heard. That is the working student. But today, MMDC changes that. Today, we celebrate the working students. We champion the working students. And this is just phase one. This is the first year that we're doing this study, right? Every year on 3/2/1, March 21, we're gonna be doing the same so that we be able to capture what is the state of the working student. And before I wrap up, again, thank you so much for being here with us. And let's celebrate the National Working Students Day for you to hear the state of the working students in 2026. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Chester, for that awesome opening remarks and for giving us stat highlights about the survey. And also, I love that Chester said working students are usually seen and never heard, but we are changing that. Before our working student speakers share their realities and present the findings, we need to understand what we're actually talking about. The survey, the movement, the why. So without further ado, please welcome MMDC's Director for Student Affairs, Ms. Rita De Jesus.
Thank you, April and Koji. So before we move forward, I want to give you the context to make the data that you will hear today very meaningful. As April has mentioned, it's going to be the why behind this study, how it was built, and what its honest limitations are. Since this address is just the beginning of our wider dream of MMDC's National Working Students Day and the state of the working student. So why did we do this study in the first place? This study was conducted to develop a clear, data-grounded understanding of the realities faced by Filipino working students today. More than documenting numbers, more than documenting statistics, it aims to surface the lived experiences behind the numbers, how students navigate the demands of work, academics, and daily life, and what that means to their well being, persistence, and success. As an institution, MMDC's significant population are working students. This is why one of the reasons we undertook this study. And it's also not only to better understand our own learners, but to contribute to a broader conversation, one that can inform more responsive systems, stronger support structures, and ultimately better outcomes for working students. So let me enumerate the 7 objectives. One is to describe the one is to describe the demographic and socioeconomic profile of working students, of Filipino working students. You'd be surprised to hear later on we have Filipino working students all around the globe. Number 2, it's to document the nature, intensity, and conditions of Filipino working student employment. Number 3, it's to assess the financial circumstances and obligations of Filipino working students. Number 4, examine Filipino working students' academic engagement patterns, challenges, and institutional context. Number 5, measure Filipino working students' psychological well-being using validated Likert-based items. 6, it's to capture Filipino working students' aspirational career and salary expectations post-graduation. 7, it's to identify the most impactful institutional, employer, and policy interventions for Filipino working students. Later on, our students from MMDC will share with you how this translates in real life. So the survey ran from February 18 to March 17. It's 1 month so far. We had 155 verified respondents from 18 Filipino regions, plus seven overseas locations, including UAE, Qatar, Japan, Singapore, Taiwan, and Australia. So we're not just here, we're not just in Mapua, we're all over the Philippines. All over the world. 72.9 are in IT and computer science, but the working student experience cuts across business, education, nursing, culinary, and law as well. 81.9% are college undergraduates. 8.4 are in their postgraduate. Now, what does this 155 respondents mean, honestly? So let me be upfront with what this study is and what it is not. This study reflects 155 voices from within MMDC and MMDC's friends and network. While the findings are directionally robust and meaningful, they are not yet nationally representative and should be interpreted with care. The data is also self-reported, so it's our students saying how they feel, what they think, but what they're going through. It means it may carry some level of bias, especially when it comes to sensitive areas like financial status, well-being, and academic performance. This is also a cross-sectional study. It captures a moment in time, just 1 month for now, February to March 2026. It does not yet show how experiences change over time, and their analysis, grounded in descriptive statistics and thematic insights, help us identify patterns, but does not yet establish causation. So in parts of the process, we also use AI tools to support the initial coding of open text responses. With every output, it was carefully reviewed and validated by the research team. So what does this mean? It means that while this is not a definitive national picture yet, it is credible, directionally valid data. It's good enough, not as a conclusion, but as a starting point. A starting point to inform, to question, and to shape meaningful discussions. And with that, we, MMDC, make a commitment as part of the National Working Students Day initiative. This will not be a one-day conversation. We will not only celebrate today, We will do the work year-round, beginning with a deeper effort to understand what it truly looks like and feels like to be a working student today, and to push for meaningful change where it's needed. This is also a first, as mentioned, and because it is a first, we're committing to continue this work. The research team within MMDC will publish a climate report every year, every National Working Students Day from here on. So we can keep learning, stay responsive to the evolving realities of working students, and continue strengthening the support we provide. Because ultimately, this is the most important framing for everything that follows from the study. The working student experience is not constrained by ability. It's not constrained by motivation either. It is shaped, often limited by the misalignment between how our systems are designed and the realities students are actually living. That lens changes everything about how you hear the findings from our students. 4 students, 8 findings, 1 initial picture. And with that, let me call on our student presenters. First, I'll just introduce them. One, we have Adam Belda here in front. He's one of our IT students. And I'll call on the 3 girls to take the couch. First, it's Ada. So they're Ada, Mariah, and Mika. But the first to take the floor to share our first few findings is Ada.
Thank you, Miss Rita. Hi, I am Ada, and um, I am a fourth year BSIT data analytics student. Um, I've been a working student for around 8 years. I'm currently working as a workforce planning analyst, and I am a working student because I want to support my children and as a single mom while continuously improving myself and building a better future through education and career growth. So let me start with what this is. So many working students are not simply studying while working, but are navigating both roles at a full-time level. So this is what the report describes as the simultaneous dual full-time burden. Before we go into the numbers, it helps to understand what this can look like. For many, it can mean that moving between work, school, and personal responsibilities within the same day, often with limited time in between. And while experiences vary, this pattern shows up clearly in the data. So 43.9% of respondents are enrolled full-time while also working full-time. And overall, 80.6% of the respondents are full-time employment. So looking deeper, the nature of this workload becomes clearer. And nearly half of respondents work 41 hours or more per week. So while only a small portion work within the commonly recommended 20-hour threshold. So at that level, you are not a working student who happens to work. You are a full-time professional who also happens to be enrolled in class. So this suggests that for many working students, employment is not supplementary, it is central. So this context is further shaped by when work began. So 55.5% of respondents started working before entering college. The average duration of being a working student is 3.96 years, so nearly 4 years. This indicates that for many, this is not a temporary phase, but a sustained way of participating in education. And beyond individual roles, 77.4% financially support others, and 21.9% have caregiving duties like children of their own. So taken together, these patterns suggest that working students are often managing overlapping responsibilities across work, academics, and family. So I would also like to briefly connect it to my own experience. As I mentioned earlier, I've been a working student for around 8 years. So I actually started college first um, before entering the workforce. But I eventually had to work to support my children as a single mom while continuing my education for my career growth. At that time, it was really challenging to balance everything, especially since my previous school still required face-to-face exams, and my job in the BPO industry had a very strict schedule. So it was difficult to divide my time between work, school, and raising my kids, especially while working night shifts. So now, what really made a difference for me is having a strong support system. So in my current job, I'm grateful that my company supports my studies and allows flexibility when needed. At the same time, my family, um, my partner helped me manage responsibilities at home. So because of that support, I'm able to handle full-time work, full-time studies, even taking on heavier academic loads while still being present for my kids. So when we talk about dual burden, it may not look the same for everyone, but the data suggests that many are operating within tightly constrained time and responsibility. So what more if you're a working student who is also a provider? So this leads to the next finding. Working students carry additional load and titles as worker, student, and provider. 77.4% financially support others. 41.3% have caregiving responsibilities, and 32.3% are the sole financial provider in their household. So in addition, many hold significant responsibilities at work. So those are people that have supervisory or managerial roles. So taken together, these suggest that working student experience often extends beyond individual responsibility. So into family, workplace, and household roles. For some, this may not simply be a combination of work and school, but multiple overlapping responsibilities carried at the same time. And this also means that disruptions, whether in employment or academics, may have effects beyond the individual, potentially impacting families and dependents as well. So this context shapes what comes next. Because when multiple demands are carried at once, we begin to see certain patterns emerge in daily life. And Adam will walk us through what those patterns can look like.
All right, so thank you. First of all, hi everyone. I'm Adam Raymond Belda. You can just call me Adam. I am a BSIT major in software development, and I'm a working student for 4 years already. And I'm working as an IT director. I've been in the IT industry for 15 years, and yet pursuing to have a diploma here in MMDC. So from ADA, we saw that many working students are managing both full-time work and academic responsibilities. So the next question is, what does that experience tend to look like on a day-to-day basis? So this brings us to our next findings. So as you can see here, chronic overwhelm appears to be a common experience among working students. This is not just an individual observation. So, for some working students, this can mean finishing a work and then going directly into a class, and or studying during limited gaps between responsibilities. Because, as mentioned earlier by Sir Chester, it doesn't stop there. After your work, you have your own commitment, you have your own responsibilities at home, or any personal stuff that you're working on. And work schedules can also play a role. So as you can see here on the next slide, 41.9% are on a rotating schedules, of which 34.2% of the respondents report working night shifts, which may not always align with typical academic schedules. And while not everyone experiences this the same way, the data shows consistent patterns. So as you can see here, 56.1% sleep 5 hours or fewer sleep per night. And only 5.2% report getting at least 8 hours. And then we also have 58.1% who feel overwhelmed by responsibility. So that means aside from work, aside from academics, they have their own responsibilities at home as well. And 49.7% report emotional and mental exhaustion, maybe because of the pressure they're getting from their overall responsibilities. So taken together, these suggest that many working students are operating under sustained pressure over time. The report frames this not purely as an individual issue, but as something shaped by how work and academic demands intersect, and can be linked to the dual full-time burden described earlier. Alongside this, the study also highlights a financial dimension, which is a financial strain persists for many working students even while employed. So for this one, this finding challenges a common assumption that employment automatically leads to financial stability. The report suggests a more nuanced reality. For working students, employment enables education, but it is a fragile enabler. So as you can see here, we have 75.4% describe themselves as surviving or broke before payday. And that's the reality. This indicates that many reach the end of each pay cycle with limited or no financial buffer. When asked about support needs, 70.3% identified financial literacy and financial assistance as among the most important forms of support. And most are not relying on external support. 63.9% self-fund their education primarily through their own salary, while only 5.8% receive support or scholarships. Income levels also vary widely. So with many clustered in the 20,000 to 24,999 range, and some earning significantly less or more. Here, for instance, in Metro Manila, where 38.1% of respondents live, that amount possibly covers, for example, rent of 6,000 to 8,000 maybe right now. And then food, we have maybe a budget of 5,000 pesos. Transportation, 2,000 to 3,000 if you're wise enough. And then tuition amortized at 3,000 to 5,000, let's say. Plus, of course, we can't live without internet. We have phone and internet for 1,000 pesos. We haven't sent anything home yet. Imagine, that's your expenses already. And based from our graph, from our slide, we have 77.4% are sending money home because that's the culture of the Filipino. Right now, as I mentioned, I'm also an IT director, and for sure some of you would think how much I'm earning. With the economic status of the Philippines right now, or the world right now, it's really not enough. In fact, I'm thankful for MMDC for offering different types of payment. They also partner with Bukas. And even I'm an IT director, I would admit it that I even availed Bukas loan, student loan, because that's how you wisely budget your money. Because as a working student, you need to prioritize your expenses. So because I don't want to give up studying, I chose to loan first my tuition every start of the term and then pay it afterwards. And that suggests that employment does not always translate into financial stability, especially when combined with tuition, living expenses, and family responsibilities. The report also outlines how these factors can be interconnected. Changes in employment conditions may affect financial stability, which in turn may influence in academic continuity. One lost job, one medical emergency, one broken laptop, the pathway to graduation snaps. So what we begin to see is a pattern. Working students are participating in both systems, but often under conditions that are difficult to sustain. And this leads us to the next question. How this affect learning itself? Mika will take us there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ada. So, hi everyone. I'm Mikaela Conway, a third year BSPA student, and I've been a working student for 2 years, and I'm working as a marketing specialist. So, I am a working student because I have taken the responsibility of being a breadwinner for my Lola and our bunso after the passing of my mother. From the earlier speakers, we've seen that many working students are balancing significant demands across work and daily life. So the next question is, how do these demands affect academic performance? When a working student's multiple realities intersect with academic expectations, time can become the most limited resource rather. And this is reflected in how students participate. Only 38.7% report regular attendance in all sessions, while others, 30.3% rely primarily on asynchronous participation, while others report lateness or absences. Time allocation data in our SWS survey reinforces this. 65.8% ranked work as their top priority, while only 13.3% ranked school first. Personal time, including self-care and rest, is consistently ranked lowest. This suggests that for many working students, self-care is not simply deprioritized, but may be difficult to sustain without existing time constraints. Therefore, time, not ability, appears to be the primary academic barrier. 52.9% identify time constraints as their biggest academic challenge. Only 7.7% report difficulty understanding lesson. This distinction is important because it suggests that academic difficulty may not be driven primarily by ability, but by the availability of time to engage. And this connects closely to what Adam shared earlier. A significant portion of respondents work long hours, with 47.1% working 41 plus hours a week, a staggering 41 hours plus. And many navigating schedules that may not align with traditional class times. At the same time, working students are actively adapting. 73.5% report using AI tools such as ChatGPT as part of managing their workload. Others use tools like Notion or task management systems to organize responsibilities. This pattern suggests that working students are developing strategies to navigate complex schedules and competing demands. I personally experience this, or I personally rely on this multi-tool approach. I use Gemini for deep research because of its direct integration with the Google ecosystem, and I pair that with Claude AI, specifically for aligning my slides for milestones, TA duties, and even my professional work. However, even with these tools, the broader learning environment can still present challenges. Only 59.4% report having stable internet access, and just 53.8% have a quiet place to study. Taken together, these findings suggest that working students are engaging in learning under constrained conditions, often making trade offs across time, energy, and focus. The good news, despite being generally burnt out, working students still feel a sense of pride, and that is a paradox found on our survey. The burnout pride paradox. The data shows two patterns happening at the same time. 74.8% report feeling proud of balancing work and school. At the same time, 58.1% report feeling overwhelmed, and 49.7% report emotional and mental exhaust. This finding suggests that for many working students, this experience can be both meaningful and difficult at the same time. There is pride alongside pressure, and that is important because when pride is high, it can be easy to assume that things are working. But the data suggests a more complex picture, that strong pride can exist alongside real strain, and in some cases, may even coexist with it. I know this paradox by heart. Halos 3 beses na akong muntik sumuko. For me, it isn't just about a busy schedule. It's navigating a brain with ADHD. There are days when the inattentive phase hits and a simple task requires triple the effort, yet I still make those avoidable mistakes. It's frustrating, super frustrating, and it leads straight to burnout. I carry the pride of being a breadwinner, paying off the mortgage my late mom left behind, keeping my brother in school, and watching over my lola as her health fades. Ang bigat ng mga, ang bigat dalhin ng dangal. There were so many times I wanted to choose my mental health or my studies first. But the responsibility calls louder. I am carrying the dream of the women in my family, from my lola who hoped to be a lawyer, my mom who aspired to be a journalist, and now I'm stepping up as a future marketer and hopefully an MBA candidate. Hopefully. This is the pride that data talk about. Ito yung pangarap na nagpapatakbo sa akin. Pero ito rin yung pressure na paminsan-minsan ay tumutunaw sa akin. But I'm not alone. Through the support of my mentors and opportunities from MMDC, whether it's hosting or joining forums, I found a lifeline. Totoo to. No joke, not sponsored. Sa totoo lang, it saved me many times. MMDC gave me a reason to keep showing up. It's a constant tug of war between being proud of how I've come while feeling the exhaustion of how much farther I have to go. And this leads to a broader question. What happens when these conditions continue over time? Mariah will help us understand that. Thank you so much.
How are you guys? Hello. Are you still okay? Okay. So, hi. I am Mariah Angela Alvarez, a second-year BSIT student and digital marketing specialist with nearly 4 years of experience specializing in SEO. And I am a working student because I had to. From the earlier speakers, we've seen how working students navigate overlapping demands across work, academics, and daily life. This final section looks at what these conditions may lead to over time. To put it bluntly, dropout risk is present but not uniform. 45.2% report that they have seriously considered leaving school. At the same time, a significant portion also mentioned not considering it at all. The average score, 3.11, may appear moderate, but when we look at how responses are distributed, a more nuanced picture emerges. 37 respondents strongly disagree, indicating stability and commitment. 41 respondents strongly agree, indicating active consideration of leaving. These are two distinct groups, reflected within a single average.
Social support adds another layer to this. 48.4% report having someone to talk to when struggling. 31% report that they do not. This suggests that a significant portion of working students may be managing these challenges with limited support. So, how do working students cope given these factors? The primary coping substance, coffee. As an adult, hanggat hindi ina-acid reflux, walang titigil. Tama? So, kidding aside, coffee because working students are people with practical solutions. If sleep isn't available, 56.1% have confirmed caffeine will do. Other common sources of support includes family, hobby, friends, faith, and exercise. These patterns suggest that support systems are largely relational,
Grounded in people, routines, and personal practices. So, when we look at everything together, we see pressure, constraints, and competing demands, but we also see persistence. Which is why, as working students, intrinsic motivation through personal growth appears to play a key role in persistence. 69% cite personal growth as a primary motivation is slightly higher than those citing financial need. Many also indicate that they would continue working and studying even without financial necessity. This suggests that beyond external pressures, there is a strong internal reason that sustains many working students. The same group that reports high levels of exhaustion also reports the high score in the survey. 4.21 out of 5 are feeling proud of balancing work and school. This does not cancel out the difficulty, but it shows that both can exist at the same time. Again, a dual or even triple role paradox that is shared among Filipino working students. Now, I want to share a glimpse of how I got to where I am right now. Being an orphan is hard. Yes, you heard it right. I don't have parents anymore. My father died when I was 7. Then when I was 11, my mother passed away too. Fast forward, I had to survive in life. Though I still have my auntie and older brother, I knew that I need to step up. Joining organizations, competing into different schools, bagging medals here and there, and graduating with honors, plus, of course, working on the side. Until 2021 came. It was one of the most devastating moments of my life. I had to drop out of college. Imagine being an overachiever, your family is expecting nothing but the best from you, then boom, everything falls apart. I had to be a full-time employee. From the province, I need to take a leap of faith in working here remotely and on-site, experiencing the harsh reality of life. Years later, I found Mapúa Malayan Digital College. Something ignited in my heart, a sense of hope that I could finally fulfill the dreams I had to put on hold. But I need to keep it a secret, especially to my family. So if they're gonna watch this, surprise! Going back, the journey is not easy. In fact, at the end of my first semester, I messaged the IE services telling them that I cannot do this. This is not working anymore. But however, IE services said that I should give this another shot. So thank you for the kind words. Plus, I know to myself that I need to finish on what I started. MMDC isn't just a college. It's an opportunity for everyone, whether working or not, to finally make their degree a reality. Kaya naman, sa mga po ako estudyanteng nag-aaral at nagtatrabaho, kahit full-time students pa man, matanda ka man, o bata, first course mo man to o hindi. Let's step up sa pangarap. Everyone, let's step up sa pangarap. Thank you very much.
Yes, and thank you to our working students with us here today. 8 findings, 4 speakers, and each with a different story to tell, but all of them are representative of the working students or what our working students are currently experiencing, right?
Exactly. And we've already laid out the objectives of our State of the Working Student Survey and ongoing study. So now, of course, we've already laid out all of our findings so far. What's more important then will be what comes after, right? What will be the response? What will be our movement, or how will we direct our movement from this point forward? So we would like to lead that discussion by calling forth MMDC's Executive Director, Mr. Dennis Deblante.
Thank you very much. Quite heartwarming to hear our working students' stories. We very much appreciate your sharing. It's also good that we have the study started, and we will continue doing that so we'll better understand the plight of our working students. Anyway, good morning, everyone, to our students, partners, friends from media, and everyone who made today possible. Thank you for being here. And to every working student in this room and beyond, happy National Working Students Day. Today is yours. A few weeks ago, we asked, as you've heard earlier in the data presented, 155 Filipino working students, a simple question: how are you really? What came back was not simple at all. We learned that from the numbers presented earlier, 80.6% of you are employed full-time. Not part-time, full-time. Many of you are working 40, 50, sometimes more than 50 hours a week, and then opening your laptops to attend class, submit requirements, and push through. We learned that 56% of you sleep 5 hours or less. You've seen the numbers earlier. Every night. Not because you're careless with your time, but because there simply aren't enough hours in the day. Lahat po tayo, 24 hours lang eh. Di ba po? So it's really difficult to juggle tasks. We learned that 75% of you describe yourselves as, you've also seen this, surviving or broke before payday. Despite being employed, despite working hard, despite doing everything right. That's the experience we've heard earlier. And perhaps most striking of all, 77 of you are financially supporting someone else. A parent, a sibling, a child. God bless you. You are not just students trying to get a degree. You are providers. You are pillars. For many of you, the stake of finishing school extends far beyond yourself. Now, I want to pause here, because these numbers could easily feel heavy. And they are. They are. But here's what else the data told us. 74.8% of you feel proud of what you've been doing. Not despite the difficulty, because it's really because of it. Because you know what it costs. Because you show up anyway. 69% of you cited personal growth, not just financial need, as your reason for working and studying at the same time. And when we asked, if you didn't need the money, would you still do this? Nearly 59% said yes. So you are not here by accident. You are not here reluctantly. You are here on purpose. Nadinig natin yung mga testimony earlier. And we believe them. And that tells us everything about who you really are. But here's what I want MMDC to say clearly today, and I want you to hear this. Your resilience is real, and it should never be used as an excuse for systems not doing better. Because here's the defining insight from this study. The challenge you face are not the result of poor choices. We've heard that from Chester and then from all the other testimonies earlier. Not from having weak discipline or lack of drive. They are the predictable output of systems, academic system, workplace, and policies. Time, not comprehension, is your primary academic barrier. You're not struggling because the material is too hard. There's that part, but not predominantly it. You're struggling because there are only 24 hours in a day, and the world keeps asking you to fit 36 hours worth of living into them. That is not your problem. That is systems problem. So what does MMDC commit to? We commit to continue to listen. This survey is not a one-time effort. We intend to run it every year, building a picture year by year of what it truly means to be a working student in the Philippines and elsewhere. We commit to continue designing with you in mind. Not an idealized student who has all the time and none of the obligations you carry. We commit to advocating to employers, to policymakers, to every institution that touches your life. Because your success, it is not just an education issue. It is a socio-economic issue. When you succeed, families are lifted. Filipino communities are strengthened. The stakes are that high. So as we commit to celebrating you, not just once a year, but as a consistent, intentional part of how MMDC operates. I want to close with something one of your fellow working students wrote in the open-ended section of our survey. They said, and I quote, "Work gives purpose and structure to daily life. To stop learning is to stop growing." That is a Filipino working student. Exhausted? Yes. Stretched? Absolutely. But purposeful, but growing. You are not behind. You are not less than. You are navigating one of the most complex balancing acts in higher education. And you are doing it with extraordinary determination. MMDC sees you. We are proud of you, and we are committed to being a system worthy of the students you already are. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay po kayo lahat.
Thank you, Sir Dennis.
Thank you very much, Sir Dennis. Your insights are always appreciated, and I love that Sir Dennis highlighted one of the working what student what one of our working students wrote, and it's to stop learning, it means to stop growing. And this National Working Students Day is actually meant to celebrate our working students who continues to strive for improvement, for to strive to achieve their dreams no matter what it costs. So thank you again, Sir Dennis. So what we've seen today is clear. Working students are not only navigating complex realities, they're actively building, contributing, and showing up in ways that often goes unseen. And that brings us to this next segment. Today, we would like to take a moment to recognize a different kind of work in the service of others. We want to recognize our students whose work has already made a visible impact within MMDC. Our student club leaders. These are the students who choose to take on additional responsibilities, not because they have more time, but because they believe in building something for others. They organize, they lead, they create spaces for connection, growth, and belonging.
I definitely agree with you there, April. And as mentioned earlier, I think for me, one of the most significant lines that I've heard this morning is that with working students, it's more of a time issue rather than a personal cognitive ability issue. And with the time and the limited time that we all of us have, with our priorities, with our constant demands on top of those priorities, right? With what Sir Dennis's portion mentioned and what you mentioned, what matters is we continue the movement, we continue the learning, so we continue to live. Wow. So with that, we recognize our working leaders, our students who also work as leaders within our communities, within our clubs, if that gives away something already. So before that, we want to call on our directors in front so that we may share our certificate of appreciation to our particular set of student leaders representing MMDC clubs. So, Chester, Dennis, and Rita, I'd like to call you on forward. And yes, Jenny also, please. Marketing. Thank you very much.
Okay. First, I'd like to call on our digital board, the digital board, school publication. So this club, actually the longest standing club so far. So digital board is currently led by Ryan, Content Media, and Aisha. Oh, sorry, let me read my certificate. So today, we present this certificate of appreciation to our club leaders. We honor work in its many forms today on National Working Students Day 2026, including the quiet work that often goes unseen and unrecognized, and building communities, creating spaces. Sorry, let me repeat. So today, on National Working Students Day 2026, we honor work in its many forms, including the quiet work that often goes unseen and unrecognized in building communities, creating spaces for connection, and leading in service of others. Your initiative, dedication, and commitment to establishing, leading, and sustaining a student organization have played a vital role in shaping the culture, engagement, and sense of belonging within the MMDC community. Your work matters, your leadership makes a difference, and it does not go unseen. So today, we award this certificate to the Digital Fourth, represented by the Editor-in-Chief, Ryan, Grace Pantanilla, and Aisha Conting, our Managing Editor. So today, we also call one of our new clubs this year, AWS Cloud Club MMDC. So this year, Helene Rose Nantoco, our president and founder, established this club and had this recognized by the International AWS Society. Okay, next, our Capture the Future Club, our baby club. They'll have their first activity this coming March 30, so you guys. Okay, so Capture the Future Club, founder and leader, Corinne Bianca Agripa, and Juan Miguel Babatas. Next, we call on the president of our BA Society, Nika. Here with her is Louie Aguilar. I'll call on Miss Kate Villamin, one of our leaders as well. Okay, our last club leader, Mariah, for Art Music. She's working on establishing and leading this club for arts, music, and therapy. And while we're giving certificate of appreciations, let me call on also our four student speakers, Adam, Mariah, Mika, and Ada. Thank you. Let me read. Today, on National Working Students Day, we honor your courage in stepping forward to share your experiences and represent the voice of working students. Your willingness to speak, reflect, and give voice to real student realities has helped deepen understanding, spark important conversations, and strengthen our collective commitment to supporting working students. Through your voice, stories are heard, experiences are validated, and perspectives are brought to light. Given to this 21st day of March 2026, on National Working Students Day.
All right, once again, congratulations to our student leaders. Let's give each one a round of applause once more. You deserve your
Well deserved, yeah. And thank you for all the work that you do within the MMDC community. And for everyone watching the recording, these teams are going to be leading this community long after today. So remember their names. And we're not done because MMDC believes there are outstanding working students in every corner of this community. Today, we officially open nominations for the Outstanding Working Student Award, or TOWS, that will be presented at our year-end event. Okay.
That's great. So this QR code for our students here. Feel free to already start nominating. Starting next week, we'll share the link with everyone so that we can spread the news, and hopefully by the end of the year, similar to what we did earlier with our student leaders, will also reflect that in our year-end award. So we can look forward to that.
Yes, so by the way, the Outstanding Working Students of MMDC or TOWS Award is a recognition program that honors students who successfully juggle academics and work while leaving a positive impact. It's an opportunity to be seen and heard and share their working student stories.
Yes, and what you said earlier, working student stories, it's not the end of our working student stories. So as we mentioned earlier, today is our 321 National Working Students Day. So every year we'll round up everyone once more. And for this year in particular, we have our 321 Step Up and Go Challenge. We've already posted the mechanics in our social media sites, official channels, so you can look up the mechanics. That in general, they're all here. They're all flashed in the screen. We hope we're all wearing blue. If you're not, you can still catch up when you go home, right? And share your working student stories with us. Our hashtags are hashtag Step Up for Working Students and hashtag Working Students Day PH. So we hope the target is for everyone to move at least 3.21 kilometers or at least 32.1 minutes. So if you're up to the 321 Step Up and Go Challenge, we want to see you. Feel free to tag us. Hope your public posts are available to everyone so that we can also share your posts in our official channels.
Yeah, so it could be a run, a walk, or if you're going to the gym, anywhere in any parts of the world, anytime within the day, March 21, 321. Let's join the movement and step up for our working students.
Yes, that's great. And beyond our address, as mentioned, as we've been mentioning, we are also currently recording our live session now at Mapúa Makati. So you can look back on this recording eventually, and our report in the future. We'll share it with everyone as soon as possible. And while we're doing that, you can still continue to share the State of the Working Student survey to your fellow working students while we continue to improve it for next year's report. And again, we want to make your story public, so just make sure with your posts, you either set your post settings to public or in your own general profile, your profile is already public, and you can tag us at Mapúa Malayan Digital College. Lastly, as part of our career development initiatives, we want to again continue the conversation that this address and our National Working Students Day advocates in general, and that is for everyone's positive progression in their professional lives, in their professional journey. So we're also launching our Step Up Your Success Career Conversation starting next week. It's already going to be this Thursday, led first by our MMDC leaders. So you can watch out for more details by this Monday as we tease everyone. And by next month, it will not just be our MMDC leaders who will be talking to our MMDC students. Of course, we also want to connect everyone to our wide network of Mapuan partner companies. So starting April, you can watch out and be excited with the sessions hosted by our partners, starting with Accenture. We'll share more details as we go. And with that, we also have a raffle that we promised for everyone who helped us out with our initial findings, with our initial study. So we have validated everyone's entries. We have acknowledged everyone's referrals that count as multiple entries, and we have flash here on the screen. We'll also share it after this. We'll contact each one privately to share the details on how they can win or receive their prizes. So thank you again very much, and know that for those who are going to accomplish the survey in the future, starting today, you can still continue to rack up the tickets. We'll try to make them count for next year's report. So thank you, everyone. All right. With that, we cannot close out this address without also mentioning the other members of the MMDC team who have helped us out, making sure that our survey, our address, and all of our National Working Students Day activities are successfully thought out and executed. And we'd like to call on none other than our senior brand officer, who is one of the leading figures who helped us kick off our NWSD celebration this year. I'd like to call on Kristen Mayuga. Let's give her a
Okay, I'm the last speaker now for today. Good morning, or actually good noon, to our executives, to our media friends, MMDC staff, and most especially to our dear working students. It's so great to see you all in one room, because I think I've talked to you guys online or one by one. So happy that we could all be together. And thank you for being here today on a Saturday in the middle of a long weekend, because that alone says so much. Your presence here means that you believe in this cause, and that means everything to us. As mentioned a while ago, I've personally had the privilege of leading MMDC's Step Up sa Pangarap movement with the amazing team around us to celebrate and empower working students all over the country. And beyond all the data that we've presented, I've witnessed so many real stories, stories of grit, sacrifice, and determination. The parents, the breadwinners, the dreamers, the ones who yearn for a second chance. The working students who show up every single day, even when it's hard. And honestly, I know we've only seen a fraction of their greatness, but even that is enough to move us. To celebrate them, to celebrate you, to recognize you, and to keep building spaces that empower you. Because at the core of everything we do here at MMDC, we want every working student to feel one thing: that you are not alone. That there are people, organizations, and communities, not just within MMDC, but beyond, who are standing with you, supporting you, and cheering you on. And we will continue to do our part to make education more accessible, more flexible, and more possible for you, so that no dream of yours is out of reach. Today is not just the closing, it's not just a big celebration, it's also the beginning. So to everyone here, and even those who are watching the recording, even those who are beyond this room, we invite you to take part in National Working Students Day today, 3-1 March 21. And today, we also encourage you to move with our 3-2-1 Step Up and Go movement challenge. So either you run, walk, or take a step wherever you are for working students. And of course, most importantly, share your stories. Post them, talk about them, be proud of who you are as a working student. Because your story might be the reason somebody else keeps going, or somebody else dares to take this challenge of being a working student. Supporting working students is a shared responsibility, and it's something we must continue together. So we invite all of you to be part of this movement, to celebrate, recognize, and to stand with Filipino working students wherever they are in the world.
And of course, before we close, I want to take a moment to thank the incredible team behind this initiative. So let's give them a round of applause. For Rita and Koji for leading the student affairs team tirelessly for our MMDC students. For our corporate communications team for being the great minds behind this as well. The entire SA team as well for your hard work in making the dream happen. Our marketing and creatives team for bringing this campaign to life. Our executives and the rest of the MMDC team for always supporting this cause. And of course, to our dear working students, this is all because of you and for you. Maraming salamat.
3, 2, 1, Happy National Working Students Day!